Hello, everyone. Hello, Ruby.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good myself.
Cool. Thanks for joining. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to another Postman Live. So, Hannah Neal says hi, Sean and Ruby. John's work alias says hi. Got some familiar faces in the stream. Some guests that are here often. So, Ruby, this is your first time on one of the Postman streams, yeah?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous, but we're here for it.
Cool. Well, yeah. Hopefully, some folks in the chat can help us out. We've got some fun stuff planned today. So Shiva says, Sean at Ruby, good morning. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm not the one on the hot seat today, so it's easy for me to be having a nice relaxed afternoon here. So hi,
I'm doing.
Barzan.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I'm doing great too. I don't feel like I'm in a hot seat though, because I'm standing. So that
I love
hopefully,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a similar standing desk at the moment. So we'll see if 90 minutes if I'll still want to be standing. So hi Meyer, welcome. Thanks for everyone for coming by. So yeah, super excited for this stream. So we have done a few times in the past this we call it Blindfold Challenge, and in the past we've had developer advocate Arlemy on. We've had our solutions engineer Matt Ball who's been on for us. So folks that have been at Postman for quite a bit, pretty familiar with everything. We say, you know what, it might be fun to have somebody pretty new to Postman on and see if we can get them exploring an API. And so Ruby, you are the guest of honor today.
Yeah, happy to be here. I do feel a little bit like you were hunting fresh meat when you asked me to be on, but I'm excited.
Yep. So hi Foti, hey guys, glad to be here from LinkedIn. Alberio says hi everyone from LinkedIn. Jettison, welcome to the team, Ruby. Yeah, awesome. Got quite a few folks chiming in. We'll be watching the chat. So Ruby and I are excited to interact and get your thoughts. As Ruby goes through the challenges of today. I imagine she'll appreciate any kind of help and support going through. But yeah, why don't we introduce ourselves, Ruby? You want to start?
Yeah, sure. So as Sean was kind of alluding to, I am newer to Postman. I just came on as a technical enablement architect. I'm working with our solutions engineering team. We kind of just build resources and materials to enable others to use Postman technology.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks so much. And so I'm Sean. I am a developer advocate here at Postman. So I get to do fun things like hop on this stream with various folks from Postman or outside of Postman, ask them to do cool things with us, build stuff together, and really just get to interact with folks using Postman and kind of supporting them doing cool things. So I think I have a really fun job. All right. So we've got quite a few folks chiming in. So Sherry Knight from LinkedIn says, what a great idea. Happy to be here. Carla says, fresh out of the boulangerie. I'm pretty sure that's French for bakery, but I don't, or meat shop. I don't know. How's your French, Ruby?
Non-existent, so your guess is as good as mine.
Okay, I'm going to go with like a meat shop, but this is, it'd be good to have Arlo on for this one. He could confirm, what, if I'm close at all. But Annabelle from YouTube says, go Ruby. Yeah, so I'll kind of explain the goals for today. So like I said, this is what we call, John's work alias is bakery, I think. Awesome, thank you. So for these like quote unquote blindfold challenges, the way it's going to work is, I've picked an API out that's in our public API network, and I'm going to see if Ruby, I have a few challenges based on that API. And the goal is to let Ruby know which API I want her to explore, and have a few challenges along the way. And yeah, the goal is really just seeing how somebody totally unfamiliar with an API just gets this quick prompt of, hey, do X with Y API, and see how that process goes. So that's the gist, and hopefully we'll fill an hour plus of time with that one little prompt.
Yeah, I'm on the edge of my standing desk. I can't wait to find out.
Awesome. Cool. So yeah, we got a lot of support. So go Ruby from Frank. Foti says Postman is the best so far as a front-end dev. Honestly, I can't do without this tool. Kudos, guys. Awesome. Thanks, Bodhi. Glad to hear that it is a valuable tool in your workflow. That's great. Okay, Ruby, are you ready?
Yes.
Cool. So the API that I've explored and had a really fun time with and think is going to be, kind of an entertaining thing for us to go through together is the Aflorithmic API. So I was going to say your face leads me to believe you have not heard about this API before.
Not at all. I mean,
Cool.
I can guess maybe.
Sure. Yeah. Take a guess. I'm curious. Yeah, I'd be curious.
The rhythmic part of it makes me think it has something to do with music, which is kind of cool if that's true. If it's not, also cool.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. So there will be some sort of audio component. So I don't know. Actually, yeah, there could be some music stuff involved in today. So yeah, good start. I will spell it out so folks at home and in the chat and Ruby know what exactly we're talking about. So Aflorithmic API, I just sent it into our chat. Hannah Neal asks, are you going to sing for us too? I won't. I certainly don't think anybody on the stream would enjoy that. Ruby, you're welcome to if that's up your alley.
You never know. Stay tuned, I guess.
Cool. And you're getting some compliments on your Spider-Man painting from Freddie.
Cool. I cannot take credit for that. That came from a convention.
Nice. Cool. All right. So Ruby, you have the API that I am hoping that you can explore. And yeah, I think I'll kind of let you take over a bit now and feel free to talk us through, given this prompt, what you're thinking and how you kind of go about stuff. So before sharing your screen, yeah, I'm curious what you would, initial thoughts and stuff.
I guess I would want to explore Aflorithmic's documentation just to kind of, number one, understand what kind of data they're working with, if it is music. Yeah, I would just start with the docs, really.
Cool. All right. So why don't we pull your screen up and people can kind of watch and see what you're doing and we can kind of follow along. So I'm going to move the chat off screen for now, but we are very much still reading it. So please feel free to, keep chiming in if Ruby gets stuck or if you have comments on anything. We're reading it and we will very much, follow along. So Vishal says, very helpful tool. Thanks. Saeed says, joining right now, what's it regarding? So we're doing a blindfold challenge. Ruby's about to dive in on a new API that she has never heard about before. So here we go. And I'm going to move the chat for now just so we can see.
Cool. So I am in my Postman account here, and I'm curious to know if we have information about that within Postman or about Aflorithmic.
Yeah, and Ruby, would you mind zooming in one more time just so we can see it a bit better?
Cool. Well, this looks like maybe a team space. Okay, so if it's not here, I can Google it for sure.
So Samuel is explaining Blindfold Challenge to explore Mystery API, which we now know to be Aflorithmic API. So thank you, Samuel. Correct, that is what we're doing.
Okay, Aflorithmic's personalized audio technology integrates with the most popular platforms. Let's see. Smart speakers. Should probably go into developers.
I like it.
Well, it immediately asked me to kind of get going and get an API key. I still want to kind of understand what they're about. Okay, so if you're on any one of these platforms, you can use the API to send things to these other platforms. Okay. I want to do a little bit more exploring and see what's in their docs here.
I like it.
The service takes care of all your audio requirements. makes
I'm
it
not sure I've
possible.
heard of this audio as a service yet, because normally it's like, SaaS, like software as a service. So audio as a service feels like a horrible acronym, just a app or ass a service.
Doesn't sound as nice as SaaS.
Yeah, it's not quite as catchy.
Yeah, so I wonder if this is kind of like, I don't know, when you need sound effects on your website, for example, is that kind of thing?
Maybe.
Sound design. The basics. That sounds like what I need.
Yeah. So Foti said this is interesting. Should be joining our lives more often. Yeah, we're glad you're here. Thanks for joining. We do this every week. We have a stream, so please feel free to keep coming by, Foti.
Okay. Traditional audio production process. Content management, speech, sound design, and mastering and production. I guess, Sean, I'm just wondering, what would be something that you would build with this kind of API?
Yeah, so it is. I'm surprised that there's not like a kind of big catchphrase thing saying like, do this with it. Because normally I think that's what I want to know is like, what is that kind of the core of what we can do here? And so I guess it talks about, if we look at that welcome, audio as a service that takes care of all your audio requirements, but even that's like kind of vague to me. But so that second sentence, what you're highlighting now, is kind of what I think the bread and butter of this API is, and part of what I am hoping to have you explore a bit more. But basically, this idea of turning text to speech, and so that's what we're gonna hopefully dive in more. And yeah, it looks like Shiva has said Ruby. I believe it is text to speech, and yeah, I think that is kind of the core of what the Aflorithmic API is going to get into for us.
Cool. All right. Well, then I'm still wondering what kind of project would we be building where we'd need to, have text to speech.
Yeah. So, I think text to speech is kind of becoming more common. Think about things that we use in kind of everyday life. Maybe not every day, but like stuff like Siri and Alexa and all these like computation, like computer voices talking to us, and giving us instructions or information. And so I think there is, Google Maps, for example, it's like turn right at blah, 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 so I think really text to speech can be pretty powerful and we can be pretty creative with it. And I think as we dive in a bit more on some of the use cases they have, I think we might find some cool things that we can do.
Okay, so you mentioned that they have use cases. Do they have maybe a space that I'm not seeing where they have these listed? Examples of them using it?
Yeah, so for me, when I'm going through like an API for the first time, I like to see if there's anything on like quick start or like getting started or like a hello world type thing. And that's kind of always where I like to get started.
Gotcha. It looks like they have an example right here, hello world. Cool.
So let's see. So Samuel has another kind of adding on to the idea of like text to speech being accessibility. Right. So if there's a website that has, everything written out, for folks that, aren't able to see as well, that kind of text to speech can be super valuable. Hannah Neal also mentions, accessibility. But yeah, folks in the chat are pretty active here. So Foti's never heard of audio as a service. I hadn't either before I was exploring this one. So this is pretty cool.
I suppose that is sort of a privilege then, that it's not something that's been on our radar, but yeah, I can see it being super beneficial for accessibility.
Yeah. So John's work alias says, it looks like you can input text and it will process, and then you can access the test via an MP3 file. I wonder if that's what we might be doing today, John's work alias.
Input text, process, then access via an MP3 file. Interesting.
Yeah. So Foti's asking what the name of this API is, and this is the Aflorithmic API, and I'm happy to share the link to the page that Ruby is on. So while you keep exploring a little bit, Ruby, I'm gonna pass this on to everybody.
Cool. So, all of the documentation here keeps pushing me toward creating this API key already. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to get one of those, hopefully for free.
Yeah, so I did confirm. So if folks want to follow along at home and you plan on doing this workflow, this is you can explore for free. You can get started for free, so you don't need to input a credit card, and we'll be able to get started pretty quick with this one, which is sweet.
Personal account. I should probably read that, but I'm going to trust that it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think that'd make the most exciting stream if we're sitting here like going through the terms and services in detail.
All right, I have the luxury of a second screen, so I can just kind of see this.
Perfect.
Cool.
So Ashwini has said, join late. What's the goal for today? Ruby is exploring this API that she has never come to before, the Aflorithmic. That is tough to say. Yeah, so we're getting started on the Aflorithmic API here.
Ooh, cloning a voice. That's interesting. I do have my API key up here, which I believe should be secret. But I'm assuming that it's fine that it's showing. Yeah, so I have that copied, and I'm guessing I can jump right into, well, before I jump into Postman, I need to see what I'm going to be doing with that API key.
So back to where we started, back to the welcome. Yeah, so from here, right, Ruby has an API key. It kept pushing you towards that. So it's like, all right, cool, I got it. Now what? I think it'd be worthwhile to go back into Postman, and I would search again and just see if there's anything we might be able to find in there. And so I think, yeah. Okay. So yeah. So what that's actually showing you is not necessarily that it's a team workspace, but I think that's going to be the team. And so if we click them, let's see what it takes us to.
Oh, interesting. They have some collections here that maybe we can see. Create dynamic workout. So, I guess I'm wondering then what we are trying to do, because that might help me figure out what I want to potentially fork into my workspace.
Yeah. So I think to get started, let's just create maybe, so yeah, they do have, looks like some collections for creating a personalized ad, create your own news, something. But let's maybe, so for our first goal, let's just have an API call or like a series of API calls that we can input a text and get like a hello world working, where we take this hello world text and we turn it into an MP3 file that says, like gives us the audio for hello world.
Okay. There might be some examples here. I'm wondering. Create audio messages. Create your script. Add text to speech. This sounds like something we might be doing.
Yeah. So Barack from LinkedIn says, do they have a Postman collection? I think that's kind of what we're finding right now and what Ruby is exploring. So I think, yeah, a kind of a quick recap of where we are and how we got here. So Ruby, so far you checked out the actual docs. They really pushed you to get your API key. And we're getting a request to zoom in one more time if you don't mind. We'll probably need to do it in Postman. Postman just is a little bit tough to see.
Gotcha.
Cool. Yeah, I think that will be helpful. Please let us know. So Jettison or other folks, if you're still having trouble reading, we can, ask Ruby to zoom in more. But yeah, so get your API key, and now we're exploring Postman and seeing is there anything in Postman that's going to help help you get started, get going. And thankfully they did have collection, and right now we're in their public workspace. And so I'll kind of let you go back to exploring here. But yeah, now I think, Ruby, can you explain what you're looking at and what you're looking for?
So we had just talked about something we might be doing with this API, which is to have a text input and use the API to have an audio output. And so I'm just exploring this workspace and the collections that they have to see if that's something that they already have an example of. And then I'm also just going back and forth with the documentation here just to see step by step what was going on that helped them populate this collection.
Cool. I love that. Yeah, I think when possible, let's try to use the resources that already exist from a collection. And we talk at Postman about time to first call being such an important metric when exploring a new API. And like the easier folks can make it for us to make our first successful API call, the better that's going to be.
Okay, so I'm going to try to fork this then so that it's in my workspace. I'll have it in this one. All right, so now I have it. And we are doing this text to speech, I'm guessing. This looks resolved. I feel like this is usually unresolved. I don't know where this is coming from. Let's see.
Yeah, so if you hover over it, and so it is, hover back over base URL. Yeah, here we go. And if you go to the variables tab, so this is one of the nice things that API Audio has already done for us. When they made this collection, is they went in and they knew that these variables would be reused, and didn't want people to have to enter it in themselves. So this base URL, they took care of already putting that in so that all the requests we can reuse that variable base URL. So which made it easier.
I see where you were going with using what we already have, because there does seem to be some documentation here, which is really cool. So I did have my own API key, I thought. I don't know if it's somehow automatically populated here or if this is one that they don't care that they're providing.
I think that one, when I was messing around, I think that one's just kind of like a dummy API key.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I would, it kind of has this documentation that talks about how to use this collection, which I think is super valuable when folks do that. Having documentation on your own page, is fantastic, and having quick start guides. But the workflow is obviously a little bit different in Postman. So, having this information to, get started, I think is super valuable and helps with that, time to first call.
Nice. So I did see here, replace the current value with your brand new API key. Click on persist all.
So Ruby Debonair Sage appreciates the automagically use when we touch that.
I have a couple of those pocket one-liners that'll come out.
Perfect.
Okay, so I clicked persist all. I didn't get any kind of feedback to suggest that I selected it successfully. I'm kind of just trusting that it happened.
Yeah, so I think that the current value is the API key that you got from the website, right? Cool. So there is one thing that I always forget at this stage that you definitely need to do if you actually want to make successful API calls. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Select the environment. I feel like there's no environment though, because it's in the collection.
Yep, that's usually what I end up doing is not having an environment. We just have to make sure that we save it.
Yes.
And I think normally if you weren't so zoomed in, that the save button, I believe, is more, what's the word? Just more present. Right now things have like collapsed a little bit, and so it's harder to see all the things that we need.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that heads up, because I know I would have stumped myself.
Like, invalid API key. Like, no, now what?
Yeah. Okay, so that's persisted and saved. You can turn any idea into full-blown audio production. Okay, things you should have a look at. Sign up. I feel like I did that. YouTube tutorials might take a while. Take a look at our docs. Did that. Try our API recipes. I'm curious what this is about.
Yeah, I highly recommend checking out the API recipes one. This is, so Ruby, I said our goal was going to be kind of to start, like, let's get like a hello world, speech output. I think the ultimate goal is going to be to have like a little, clip that talks about like, hey, like this was my experience doing this. Like I learned X, Y, and Z, and you can add some cool like sound clips in it, and we can make it like sound like a kind of professional, audio thing with like funny sound effects and stuff. So I think that's our ultimate goal. But let's start with the hello world, and I think the recipes is a great kind of like thing to look at.
Gotcha. Okay, so if we're doing a hello world, let's see this example to see if I missed any directions here. Follow the hello world, create your first audio track. Oh, is this not the same thing? I guess it is. Create your first. Cool. I am much more comfortable with JavaScript.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat where I'm, I feel like I should know Python better because it feels pretty valuable and useful, but JavaScript is what I learned first, and that's kind of where I feel the most comfortable.
So am I using a library here? API audio?
No, so I think this library would be, if we were doing this from somewhere outside of an API client like Postman. So we're not going to necessarily need to import any libraries. And I would say even for us, the JavaScript code is super helpful, especially if that's what we're familiar with. Because Postman, is an API client and is going to be sending these requests. I actually looked at the curl code and found those pretty valuable because that's going to kind of format it in I think ways that are a little bit more one-to-one in terms of like matching the Postman UI. So I found this quite helpful.
Okay. So I am seeing under curl, there's a header that we'll be needing, X API key, and that will be our API key. So I could put the header here, or I could have it in the collection and hear it from parent. Cool. Maybe I do need it here.
Well, so actually, if you go back to the collection level for a second, this is, yeah, right. So yeah, I feel like you just thought. So yeah, what was the, like, what did you just kind of see and notice here?
X API key is already here. We saw that here under their curl example. And the API key is kind of the variable there. Looks like we already have that variable here, and that's resolved in our collection level scope.
Yep. And what's also nice, and this is where I think like a Postman collection is super valuable. You can see like underneath that it says add to, and header is already selected. And so the audio API team that created this collection, they know that that's how their API needs requests to be sent, right? They need to have the API key attached to the header. And so they've set this up in Postman so that once you put your API key in the variable tab, the authorization is handled for all these collections, and the API key is already going to be attached to the header of each request. So that's super nice.
Okay, so it sounds like that's not something I need to worry about or set because it's already there.
Yeah. So let's see. So we have a comment here from Ali. Says you can copy and paste the whole curl request into Postman. Yeah, we could maybe do that. But let's go ahead and try to use the collection as is here. So one thing, so Ruby, go back to the collection level, because I think they say something that might be helpful. And let's pull the documentation tab open.
Okay, documentation's over here.
Okay, so I'm trying to remember. It would be nice if it was more clear, kind of the order in which you need to do things. You know, they do have these 4 requests. You know, create your script, add text to speech, create a master request, and retrieve your audio file. And so, in terms of figuring out what's the first step and which request do you send, because we've talked about like, yeah, we want to add text to speech. So I think your initial thought was, well, all right, let me go to the text to speech request and see what happens. But I think there are other steps that are actually better. But we actually have a request from Samuel. It says try sending a request in the collection as is. We can do that.
Yeah. But I see what you were saying earlier as well, where it kind of looks like it should be run in order. So I'll run this one based on Samuel's suggestion to just run it as is and see what happens. Interesting.
So I'm going to move our heads to the side here so we can see. And I'll probably, Ruby, ask you to zoom in one more time. I know it's going to get complicated enough to work with, but I think it'll be better. Yeah. Cool. Well, I think this is already a small success, because I think the 200 OK is kind of the gold standard for you can wipe your brow and be like, we had a 200. There is something successful going on now.
Definitely. So this was creating our script. And I feel like usually when I'm making a post request, there's something I throw into the body. So I'm looking at the body here. You could give it a project name, a module name, a script name. Where is this username coming from?
Yeah, so that is right. So that's the variable notation in Postman. And I think their goal is just to have it be kind of reusable. If you wanted to, say, have a CSV file with 100 names and run this process for 100 names, you could do that, and it would plug into that variable. So I think they're just trying to make it dynamic by having the variable there. In this case, we don't have any name. It's not going to be a resolved variable, but we can make one at the collection level if we wanted to.
Sure. I say, why not?
Yeah.
So it was just making sure there were no capital letters. Okay. Save it as Ruby. Make sure I save that.
Save it. Love it. Yep.
Okay, so if I run it again, that should just say Ruby. But nice.
Yep, awesome. All right, so now we've used our variable. We have this kind of like big, actually it's not big, it's like a relatively small JSON response. And so there's a few things that I think are pretty interesting in here and helpful. So one thing is I want to point out, so you have these 2 fields, right? The text and then text original. And there's stuff a little bit different in text original. Right, we have this new stuff in there.
Where I'm wondering where this is coming from.
What the heck it is? Yeah, we're
sound segment and section name. This wasn't in the body, was it? I'm trying to pull this down.
Yeah, it was not.
Looks like it's
under. Oh, it is. Okay.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we're going to want to figure out like, all right, like what are these sound segments? What does this mean in the text body and stuff like that? But I kind of like Samuel's suggestion, just kind of sending the collection as is and see what happens. So, now we've created a script. And I guess let's see what the next request does.
Add text to speech. That also has a body. So we'll see what happens there. Script ID not found. Did we get a script ID here that should have been thrown in? I see. Okay. So if this, say I use the collection runner or just manually run these in order, information from this response has to be passed to the next request. And I know we can do that through tests because tests run after a request.
Yeah, this is all very true. I love where we're going with this, like already thinking about like if we're running this in the collection runner, I say let's make it easy and just kind of like hard code it and copy it for now. And yeah, so we know that we already have this script ID. And if you actually look at the body, the JSON body that you sent.
In add text to speech?
In the create your script. We already, like the default is this script ID. And so it is a bit odd that in the collection that they have that, they have like a script ID that they sent here, but then the next one has a different one. But yeah, I think we could just copy this script ID and use it again. And yeah, like Samuel has a good point. Like from LinkedIn, he says you need to somehow pass the script ID from previous request. Yeah, and that's exactly what Ruby was kind of talking about doing. For now, we're going to avoid the programmatic handling of that and just kind of do the copy and paste for this beginning. Just trying to get a successful thing here to start. But you're absolutely right, Samuel.
All right. Well, I pasted it into the body here now, and I will see. Save it for no reason, just in case. See if that makes a difference. Well, it's taking a while, so that's maybe a good sign.
Yeah, right. I do like that. Hey.
Cool. Speech created. URL. Well, I'm curious. Uh-oh. What did I do? How did I get here?
So it's just, it's just like a massive URL. And I believe that URL that returns would give us, like if we type that into a new browser window, it will automatically download the audio file that I think we've already created.
Okay, so if I copy this into a new window.
I think you might have the quotes on the end that might, yeah. So let's see. All right, so this automatically downloaded something. This is promising.
Okay, let's see what kind of sound this is.
Hey, Ruby, welcome to my workout app.
That was a little meta. Talking to myself here.
I do like that it kind of spooked you.
Cool, so that was creepy, but it works.
Cool. All right, so yeah, you've got something that says what we typed. So
yeah,
John's Arcalia says LOL.
So I'm just kind of snooping around to see where it got the script from that it just read out loud. Looks like I can probably change that here and have it say anything else. Or well, in the body rather, not in the response. Request body.
So Kumar from LinkedIn says API built on top of AWS Transcribe, which I actually don't know if that's exactly where it's coming from. So Kumar, if you're sure of that, I'd love to hear more of how you got that. So Samuel says that's so cool.
Create a master
Yeah. So, yeah, Ruby, what do you think the next steps are? So I don't know. First of all, it made me crack up that it kind of got you. But yeah, so I think we can change it to say whatever we want. We've got some funny requests. So jump scare Halloween APIs. John's work, Elias says, make it read lorem ipsum text. That would actually be interesting to see how an artificial voice reads lorem ipsum.
That's not a bad idea. I am actually curious about that too. I don't know, I feel like people know all the numbers in pi by memory. Some people know lorem ipsum by memory.
Yeah.
Where can I just find that text? Can I just Google and lorem ipsum?
I think so, yeah.
Lorem ipsum generator, look at that. Wow. Okay, well, that might not be what I'm looking for.
So we do have remember in Postman, we have like the Faker.js library. And so I don't know that it's going to have like super long things. I don't remember if there's any like full sentences, but have you used the Faker library at all?
I do remember something about like a $sign being thrown in here, and maybe you can use one of these. Is there like
so I think if you go up a little bit, there was like random catchphrase. Go up a little bit more, maybe.
Phrase descriptor. Huh.
It's like random catchphrase. We could throw a bunch of random catchphrases in there. Frank from YouTube says scroll down and you can generate lipsum text.
Well, my ADD is kicking in here now. I want to know what my random catchphrase would
be. Cool. Yeah. So we can. I mean, I think if you were to just send this request now, it would evaluate to some random catchphrase.
Okay, so I got a success there.
To the side here so we can see. So does it say?
Fully configurable, methodical knowledge user.
I like that.
Oh gosh, don't startle me. There's got to be like a less manual way to do all this.
Yeah. So let's see what this one. We'll open this one up.
Fully configurable methodical knowledge user.
That is a random catchphrase. Yeah, I like that. So if you look at, let's continue looking at the requests in this collection. Right. So this one here is the mastering. And so this is where we can start kind of making it more kind of professional, and we can make it, I think the collection we forked was create like audio message, but there was other ones for like create a news advertisement, create a fitness like workout routine. And so this is where we can kind of have a little bit of fun. The mastering is where you're going to be able to add in like sound effects and, like music and stuff like that. So we can kind of look at some of these different things.
Okay. So I'm wondering, we have this collection from Aflorithmic API. And is this, can I just kind of customize this to do anything from their other examples? So many tabs. So cowbell, for example.
Yeah. So, they've done a nice job of, well, for those that don't get the cowbell reference, I believe this is an SNL skit. Have you seen that one?
I haven't actually seen the skit, but I do know what a cowbell sounds like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just this funny like Will Ferrell skit where he's like in this silly band, and he's like, the only way to make this better is more cowbell. He's just like very actively hitting this cowbell, which is super funny. But yeah, I would say, let's pick one of these that sounds fun. If anybody in the audience has anything from their kind of recipes that they've, drawn up, we can kind of use that and customize it to talk about, I don't know, whatever we want. We can, engaging newscast sounds like something we may want to do.
Interesting. Okay, so there is the Python script for it. Turn into speech. Okay. I keep thinking that we're going to need access to some kind of library to be able to do these.
Yeah, it is. So we're not going to, like, everything that we'll want to do. We can do with from Postman. We won't have to download any libraries or import any libraries. But there are a few things we can do. So I kind of want to point out here. So if you see the script text, we have, like, in the response here, it has like this other this notation that kind of segments the text that we want to say. And so let's actually create a mastering request, because I want to get some other sound. So right now it's just a text to speech. I think it'd be cool to start like getting some of the sound in here. So let's send this request, because the mastering is going to be when they add the other cool stuff and the cool flair to it. So let's see if this works.
Okay, let's see what this sounds like.
Fully configurable methodical knowledge user.
All right. Yeah, so we got some tunes now.
Got some background noise.
So yeah, I think a good next step would be trying to figure out, like, all right, how do we go from this master request? Like, how do we get music from the previous step to this step? So, like, what happened in the create a master request?
I'm noticing the body's obviously different. There's a tomorrow is Friday sound template. So this is making me wonder if potentially within their API they have a bunch of templates you can choose from. Not quite sure how to find them, however.
So yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head. That's pretty much exactly what they have. And it was, when I went through this, it was pretty tough to find at first, and I had to like make sense of everything. But if you go back to the one that has kind of like the docs homepage, yeah, and then just click docs. And then let's see, we want to find something with like sounds or templates, mastering. Yeah, let's see what mastering does.
Okay, introduction to mastering, audio post-production.
So I think, yeah, this is more talking about just the actual process of mastering. I think what we're looking for right now is just like the library of different like sounds we can do.
I wonder, sometimes if I can't find it in the docs, like very clearly labeled, I'll just search for it.
Yeah, I love it.
Search templates. With sound templates? Oh, sounds like another request I can make to see all the templates they have.
Let's try it.
So this is a get to this URL. I can throw in some parameters. I don't know if they're necessary.
So Samuel had recommended maybe the voices library on the left.
List voices. I'm kind of guessing if I just make a GET request to this URL, will it just list every single voice? And then this is just if I wanted to be specific about what I'm querying. I'm just going to try it out. Learn from
I love it. Yeah.
All right.
So
This is
Ali from YouTube can empathize with the amount of tabs that you've got going on. 15K tabs open when trying to debug an API. Seems familiar.
Oh, goodness. Add a request. This is going to be a GET for voices. Save that and see what happens. Nope, access denied. No auth method can be found. Interesting. So it's inherit from parent, and the parent is the collection.
Is it though?
So ominous.
I think you just have like list voices as its own collection. So
see, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me just, can you just drag yourself in there?
Yeah. There you go.
I don't need this collection anymore. I don't want it to be part of that folder though. Is that part of the folder? It's just me not seeing well. All right, let's see. Aha. Neutral accent. And okay, well, I was kind of hoping I could, oh, maybe I can hear it from here. Command and click.
Let's send it. See if it works.
Oh, interesting.
Hello, I am Tony, one of the English synthetic voices. My style is informative, flat, and serious. Try me out with your own script and find the perfect voice for your project.
That's Tony.
That's great. Informative, flat, and serious. Cool. Okay. So that's what that does.
Ooh, so Ruby, we have John's work alias has generated a little code snippet if we wanted to have a bunch, it looks like 20 random catchphrases in one. So if we wanted to add that in, we could.
Okay.
But so we can, I think, yeah, we can do that if we get there in a sec. But let's see if we can maybe change the voice and do some other stuff. So we got all these voices. I will say, this is awesome. I love that they have, you know, API endpoints to see all of this stuff, to get the get all the voices and, you know, the other sounds and stuff like that. So if we wanted to change it, like we could go back and make our original request now have, I think it was, we picked Tony's voice. Is that right?
Yeah, we could. So I'm wondering, in this body then, in this first request, is there like another field for voice that I can just throw in here?
So I don't think it's in that one. I think when we're adding text to speech, so like the first request is just like creating the actual like script of what is to be said. And here it looks like where we can kind of control, right? If you look at the line 3 under voice, we have aria.
Oh.
And I think if we change that to our friend Tony.
Was it a capital P?
No, I think it was all lowercase.
Cool.
Let's make him talk really slow too. Let's make it like 80 or something and see how that goes.
All right, save this and send. I wonder.
And so before we use that URL, let's do the mastering process as well again, because that's what's going to give us like the sound and stuff in there.
All right.
All right.
Terrible at highlighting this.
It is, yeah. It's hard to like get it without having the quotation mark in there as well.
Oh my goodness. This is why I can't see.
So yeah, one thing you could do, right, is you could do the command click and that'll open it up in like a new tab or like a new thing. This will work for us. And then you can just copy that or send it and see how it goes. I think it's going to give us kind of a funky, yeah. Whoa. So yeah, let's stick with just for now, just pasting that URL into. Ruby, you're going to have like 100 bizarre audio files in your computer when we're done with the stream.
Fully configurable methodical knowledge user.
Nice,
slow speech by Tony. I liked it.
With that interesting catchphrase too.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So let's just recap. So we've done some cool stuff. So far you have come across this new API that I gave you, and we've tried to take some text, turn it into speech using their API. And now we've started kind of adding some flourish to it. We've got some background tracks. We've changed the voice of it. We've changed the speed. So now Tony's speaking pretty slowly for us. How are you feeling, Ruby?
Pretty good, but I feel like I got myself lost in the sauce because I was trying to change the template and I never ended up doing that. I instead just found different voices, which is great, but I want to make sure that I follow through with finding that template.
Cool. I love that. Yeah, I love making sure we go back to like the original goal. So I'll say this, let's make this our current goal because I know it exists on the website. So we found a way to find the voices programmatically using their API. Let's see if we can find the library that has all the different sound templates because they do have a nice like sound template on their on their site. So Kevin Swiver saying "Lost in the Sauce" will be the new Twitter Twitter bio. So your catchphrases are really. I
got them right in my pocket.
We should have a faker library that just has things that Ruby says generate into there.
That'll be great.
Okay. So cool. So this looks similar to what we were finding for the voices, yeah?
Yeah.
So what if we looked up overview instead of the actual request in the docs? So you see a little bit to the left under Sound API. Let's see overview. Cool. So that is not what I wanted. Okay. Okay. At the very top, you see like next to their logo even where it says voice and sound library.
Oh.
Let's check that out. Carson has given us the notation for the variable generator.
I like it. It's great.
Yeah.
Camel piece.
Random Ruby phrase. Cool. So this now looks like the kind of website UI version of the voices that we were just finding programmatically.
Well, this is neat. A nice feature that they have.
Yeah. When I was researching APIs, I spent way too long on this page. I'll tell you that.
Oh, look at this.
مرحبا أنا سلمى أحد الأصوات المصطنعة باللهجة المصرية للغة العربية.
Wow, very cool.
Do you speak any other languages?
I speak Urdu fluently. I can read Arabic, but don't ask me if I can understand anything.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess she said, "Hello, I am Selma. I am a robot voice."
Okay. Might be cool to go with Spanish. We just had a Hispanic Heritage Month, so.
Cool.
Okay. Let's see. You would import that audio. Here we go again with that library.
But we're back down the rabbit hole of you trying to, now you're finding voices again. This was not our goal.
Oh goodness. What have you done?
So we're in the right spot though. We're in the right spot. So we can use Elvira. But let's just X out this exact one. Let's scroll up to the top. And instead of voices, now we can pick sounds. Yeah. I figure like I'll save you from going down the depth of exploring all the funny voices that I went through.
Oh goodness, drifting off.
Try me out with your own script and find the perfect template for your project.
That
Cool.
was quite nice.
That is. So yeah, here are all of their kind of sound samples that we can use. And let's go into one. Let's go into, I don't know, pick one that name-wise sounds cool.
Hot Wheels.
I love it.
Sounds energetic and uplifting.
Sweet. Okay. So it looks like they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 different sounds that are in this theme. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, let's play intro. Just see what that sounds like. Okay. Sounds like a time bomb.
Yeah. Sorry.
No worries. No worries. Cool. Okay. So what is your kind of takeaway from, like Hot Wheels sound theme? Like what do you, not if you'd like it per se, but like if we were to try to use this, like what are you thinking in terms of like how can we implement this?
Yeah, so if this is known as Hot Wheels within their library, I'm wondering if just writing Hot Wheels here will use that template. That's kind of where my head's at with that. And I don't even know which tab that was in.
Yeah, we did.
My tab issue.
So Hannah Neal on Twitch says time to dance bomb. Yeah, I like that.
Nice. Okay, so I will see if that theory is correct. If I can just type in Hot Wheels here.
Love it.
Wondering if it's in camel case or not. We'll find out.
Well, I think so. The tomorrow is Friday was all lowercase, right?
Yeah.
So I would stick with that syntax and see if that works for us. Postmanian song, Kumar says on LinkedIn. I like that, Postmanian. I don't think I've heard that. All right, so if we've added this new sound correctly, we should have some sort of either time bomb, ticking sound, or what was the other one? Was it just like a car sound? I don't remember.
Wow. I don't remember. We'll find out. We'll jog our memory.
Yeah. I hope it's the really loud car engine.
Fully configurable methodical knowledge user.
That's very fitting for the message.
It is. Okay, so we've been able to change the voice. We've changed the speed of the voice. We've customized the text. We have now are kind of starting to figure out like, all right, how do we use some of these sound effects and stuff? So I think the next thing is figure out, all right, how did we get the ticking sound? And if we wanted to get the car racing sound, what do we need to do now? What's the next step to kind of customize the sound we pick from the Hot Wheels theme?
Interesting. Okay. I'd imagine there's some way to select which sounds you want or don't want. Not quite sure.
So yeah, and this is like I was stuck on this for a while. So let's figure out which sound did we just hear.
That's not what we heard. That was one we heard.
Okay, so we heard intro. So let's go back and see if maybe there's anything that talks about. It looks like you might be kind of onto.
Yeah, the sound segment there that you were talking about. I'll zoom in if I can. Let's see.
Yeah, it's like sample code. It's super tough, but yeah, that's great. Cool. Okay, so now we're seeing kind of that segment or sound segment and intro. So let's see, in our Postman request where we kind of used intro, and maybe let's try to use main and see if that does anything for us.
What was it you said, main?
Yeah, I mean, you can go back and just see. I don't remember 100% if that was it, but it looks like, yeah, like main is what they call that other intense intense one.
Wild
So
sound.
yeah.
Well, now I'm thinking everything is going to be lowercase.
That does seem to be, yeah, their way of doing it.
And the section name, I don't know if that matters, because this is the sound segment. Well, we'll find out, I guess, if it matters or not. Okay. That one's already set up with Tony. And this is still Hot Wheels. Uh-oh.
So I'm going to move our head so we can see what it says. So fail to locate the file. Okay.
So I just changed my script text here to main.
So I wonder. Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to hear you talk through it. If folks in the chat have suggestions for why we might be seeing this, feel free to help out.
Okay, so maybe the sound segment name and the section name have to be the same. So it's the same here.
Yeah. So let's go back to that for a second, and I'm trying to look and see. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that. Let's try to make the segments the same.
I had it here, I believe. Nope, not main like the state. All right, let's see.
So that worked. Oh, let's make sure you do the second request too. Yeah. And then, yeah, okay. Okay, speech created.
Let's see.
Fingers crossed here. Sweet, okay. And so if we're lucky, we'll hear that super loud, obnoxious, like race car sound.
If we're lucky.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Upsized upward trending product.
Yeah, I'm impressed. They kind of eased into it a little.
Yeah, it didn't seem quite as jarring as before.
Definitely. So
cool.
That's cool. We can kind of customize it. I don't want that in here when we make that original script. Interesting. And it looks like we picked the theme, sorry, the template here.
Yeah. Cool. So I have a kind of another challenge to kind of go kind of the next step from here, if you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. So I think it would be really nice if we had something to kind of like wrap up and put a nice bow on what we did today. And we made it kind of, soothing sound. I think there's a theme called Tomorrow is Friday. So maybe we find a nice theme where we can have other people be able to find it and have like a little takeaway from today's session. Something that we'll have a few different sound effects, a few different pieces of info in there.
Yeah, I think Tomorrow is Friday was the default one.
Oh yeah. That's true. Let's do something better.
Yeah. This one says minimal, relaxed, and reflective. So this might be what we're going for. Let's see what intro sounds like.
The name feels apt.
That's so cute. It has to be that one.
Okay, perfect. All right. So yeah, I think for this one, what would be awesome is, so we can write some like custom text for this one that just talks a little bit about like, what we did. You can, it can be like a Ruby's memoir in the JSON body. We'll add some cool stuff in there.
Okay, so that was the intro sound segment. Make sure that we have that. Instead of a random catchphrase, what should I say? Oh, you know what? I'll go with Ruby's memoir.
I love that.
This is already in quotes, I'm guessing. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What else should I have them say? What else should I have Tony say?
Yeah, a robot reading my thoughts.
A day in the life of a robot reading my thoughts.
I love it. Cool. So, and now let's say, so that's our intro. Now, if we wanted to add maybe, so we'll have like, you know, a nice peaceful intro sound over that. And if we wanted to add, you know, like the next like paragraph to have something like a different sound. Oh yeah, we got to change it so it's not Hot Wheels because that would not be a relaxing. Yeah.
Okay. Let's
So
see.
which one did we go with?
Familiar memories.
Okay. And I think we can look at the code to make sure that we know it's probably just going to be all lowercase mushed together, but we can probably see how they did it. Yeah, sound template on the bottom right.
I'm really struggling to see it in this wall of text.
Yeah.
I don't use my command line.
Yeah. So like the 1, 2, 3, 4th line up from the bottom, all the way on the right, like the most right thing. Oh. Yeah. Gotcha. So we can just kind of copy that string.
Cool.
Cool. And we can do a test now, and then we can add more, or we can just kind of go for it and add all at once, or do like the nice incremental testing.
Let's increment it, I guess.
It's gonna be easier to figure out what goes wrong.
Yeah. I'll stick with Tony.
He's done us well. Okay, this is promising.
Let's make sure I save that. Gigantic link.
Yeah.
Ruby's memoir, A Day in the Life of a Robot Reading My Thoughts.
I really like it. Cool. All right, let's add some more. Let's see if we can get some more effects in there in the last like 10 minutes here. Cool. So let's create our script more. And what should our next thing say? So why don't we actually start with how you were thinking and how you were feeling coming into the stream, and we'll have like a thought and effect for that. So just like a quick sentence on this.
I kind of was, I don't know, just curious, I guess. Curious to know what random API there is that I haven't heard of just yet. Yeah.
All right. I would say write that. Yeah. That sounds awesome. I'm excited to hear Tony say that. Cool. So yeah, again, for folks following along at home, you know, this is an API that, you know, Ruby found in the public API network. So you can certainly play along, you know, and create your own speech to text. There's all sorts of various voices, various effects, plenty you can do. And, you know, hopefully you'll get an idea of, you know, another kind of cool thing we can do here with adding just different sounds and different, you know, mixing. And it was really cool. I had a lot of fun playing around with it. So highly encourage folks at home to mess around with this.
All right, let's see. Send this one. You know, I'm curious. Well, no, because if I do the collection runner, then this voices thing is going to run.
Yeah.
Unless I uncheck it.
That's true.
Hmm.
So I would say one other thing, Ruby, let's get a little bit more, let's just use the effects more. And so for this second sentence, like where we have, right where it says like, I walked into this challenge, let's create some, like a new sound segment and a new section name.
Oh. Hmm. I copy paste.
Yeah. I was surprised you went with the typing to start. I'm like, nice. They do say like copying and pasting is bad, but pretty valuable sometimes.
Definitely. Okay, cool. I did not know you could go with, or you can have different sounds in the same script text.
Oh yeah. So let's see, yeah, what we want to do for this second thought here.
Maybe, nope, that doesn't seem appropriate. Well, maybe at the end it does, like with a
Ooh,
clap.
yeah, I like that.
You know,
What about what is main? What does main sound like for this one?
Sounds a little bit like being at a carnival.
Yeah, it's not quite as peaceful as I thought, but let's try it and just see how it goes.
See if it surprises us.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Hopefully this works. Let's see. Let's actually look into the response body here, because now it's going to hopefully break it up into a few sections for us. Cool. All right, and we see that we have this intro section, and then we see that we have this main section. So that's kind of cool. Their API kind of handles that based on the string, and hopefully now we'll have these two chunks, and we'll have different sounds for different parts. So this looks good to me. So let's keep going through that workflow.
That's neat that it sectioned it up for us.
Yeah, like this API is pretty cool. It really makes it relatively easy to do kind of advanced cool stuff with this speech to text.
Oh.
Ooh, I spoke too soon.
Failed to locate the file main.
Okay, so yeah, let's see if maybe we did something a little funky. It looks like it should work as is, but we can always see. I'd say let's go back to the documentation and see if there was, how they included main. So
looks about right. Maybe there's an extra space somewhere because I see there's no space.
Trying to see. Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, try that, but it looked like it worked before, so I don't know why that would jam it up. So sound segment, section name. I'm looking on my side. If folks at home, so yeah, Claire, here we go. So we have some advice. There is a space after the file name. Where's the file name? Maybe in. So Claire, if you could, I'm not sure where the file name is. Do you know Ruby? Maybe check the add text to speech and see. Okay. Claire says after main. So
okay,
maybe.
Oh. Hawkeye.
Okay. Woo. Claire, you might have just saved us a lot of trouble. Okay, cool. Let's try it. Good eyes, Claire. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Fingers crossed. Nice.
Okay, nice. I'll roll copy and paste, friend.
All right, this is going to sound so pretty.
Yeah.
Ruby's memoir, A Day in the Life of a Robot Reading My Thoughts. I walked into this challenge curious to learn more about a random API I hadn't heard of previously.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah. Should we try to get like one little outro bit in there?
With the clapping
And
at
then,
the end.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like that.
Was that like effect 2, I think? Nope. But you know, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. That does feel like a way to take it home.
All right, let's see. Without any of those spaces.
Yeah. So John's work alias says solid. Pedro says hello from Brazil. Hello, Pedro. Hope you've enjoyed the stream and robots reading for us. Claire says this is so cool. Thank you, Claire. Without your help, we might not have had that fantastic effect.
We would have been.
And then Hannah Neal is rooting for a clap track for sure to round things out here.
Clap track. Well, we're going for magic, but I mean, you know.
So do we want to say anything else at the end for it to do the magic effect? So should we say like, this is Tony signing off, and I've done this. Oh, maybe we should throw in like a Ruby catchphrase, like thanks for automatically doing this.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool.
I have another one. I often call things like a mission and a half if it's really challenging.
But I love that. I really like that. Barack says, thanks for the show. Very welcome. Thanks for hopping in.
Combo. And then I guess we can throw in the clap at the end. This effect one.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Effect one.
Before I miss that space.
Yep. Okay, fingers crossed here. We've added a lot. I'm confident. And if it doesn't work, we have Claire to help us out. So we're in good hands here.
We do. Claire's super reliable. Did that one go through? Did I miss it?
I actually didn't see. We can always send it again, see what happens.
Well, this is really fast, I guess.
Yeah. And I guess the API is like, we know, Ruby, you want robots reading your voice. We'll speed it up for you.
All right.
Cool.
Bring it.
I'm excited for this one.
It's gonna sound like a short movie.
Yeah, there'll be some good sound effects in here.
All right.
Yeah, Richard.
Ruby's memoir, A Day in the Life of a Robot Reading My Thoughts. I walked into this challenge curious to learn more about a random API I hadn't heard of previously. Thanks for joining me on this automagical mission and a half.
Oh, I think you nailed it, Ruby.
This was super fun. It's a great API to work with.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you had fun. I hope it wasn't too stressful. I think so. Everyone in the chat, thanks so much for joining and sticking around with us. I'm going to pull your screen off for now. But we can add this to our public workspace. So we'll have this available. If you're interested in having Tony read Ruby's memoir. So I'll get this from Ruby and add that on. But yeah, Ruby, I had a blast. Thank you so much for coming on board and being a good sport and having a robot read for us.
Of course, it was a ton of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, and as always, thanks to everyone in the chat that makes it such a blast to come do this. Thanks for chiming in, following along, helping out. So, yeah, for these streams, Ruby, we usually end with, like a community shout out. So if there's anybody that you want to, thank or shout out,
Yeah, definitely. Super big shout out to Claire with her hawk
So
eyes.
mine. Yeah.
So thank you for that. And shout out to friends in the audience who were helping out and kind of pointing us in the right way when we got stuck.
Yeah. Shoot, it's always tougher going second because those were literally the ones I was going to say. But yeah, so thanks so much, everyone in the chat. Kevin Swiber, great work. This was so fun. Thank you. Heart from Claire. All right, let's see who my shout out is now. Maybe I'll give a double shout out to Claire. That really helped us out. Yeah, there's a lot of love for Claire. Yeah. All right. Hannah Neal also agrees. We all heart Claire. So that seems like a good one. So cool. That's our shout out. I do want to mention next week we have another stream coming up. So we do this every Thursday. I think next week is actually going to be switching to an earlier time. And if I'm correct, yep. So tomorrow or next week, it's 3 hours earlier. So it'll be 8 a.m. Pacific time. And that's going to be create a Kubernetes cluster with APIs on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So that should be a fun one. Long title, but I think there's going to be some cool stuff going on in there. So definitely come by next week. And I couldn't have said it better myself, Naringa. So thanks and good night. And so I think that's all. So thanks so much, Ruby. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Yep. All righty. Bye, all.